as I flew in the direction of the store's warehouse where this supposed gift would be held, I suddenly heard a voice echoing over my shoulder. As I turned my head back to see, the spirit had manifested himself from my back. I think this is a bad idea. What if Vicky's right? What if Master goes boom? The spirit said. Its metallic duplication of my armor had become sort of its go-to physical state. Well, I know it's a risk, but it's one we gotta take. We have to see if there's anything to this deal. And what if this gift is actually something useful, or intel in the organization? There's an endless number of possibilities. We have to check it out, I said, trying to calm Spirit down a bit. The Spirit, over the course of time that I had been working with him, had actually cleared up his speech quite a bit. It was amazing how fast he learned. At this point, you could barely tell the difference between a regular person talking and him. His voice sounded male, but more or less I think that was a choice, as Spirit could really sound however he wanted. Well, I still don't trust him. If any of those bad guys come out, I'm gonna smash them into little bits. Okay, Spirit, I got you. You don't have to worry. Spirit has your back. Thanks. It's nice to have somebody watching your back. I appreciate it. Spirit is a little depressed. Yeah? Over what? I said as I looked back to her. Well, Master's lost so much steel today. If he keeps losing steel at this rate, then eventually it's going to have to start coming from Spirit. I'll start shrinking. I like being big. In fact, Spirit sort of wants to be bigger. Well, I'm really not sure of how to manage that, or if it would really be practical for you to be bigger. I mean, you're already nearly a foot taller than me at full height. Yeah, but Spirit still thinks he could be bigger. Okay, Spirit, let's not put the cart before the horse, okay? What does the cart before the horse mean? I'm not familiar with that, what's it called? Analogy? Yes, it's an analogy. It means let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm still having trouble stacking up steel as it is with all of the odds we're facing. And I'm having to dole out steel to help other people as well. After all, I don't want to leave them defenseless. If I can add to their ability to protect themselves, then I should. Remember, Spirit, it's always important to care about others. The people around us are our family. We have to look out for them. I understand, Spirit replied. But maybe we can see about making Spirit bigger later on, he said, with a big smile. That was fairly creepy, considering that he took the form of my armor, complete with the menacing face and sharp-appearing teeth patterns on the helmet. He would often move them while he was speaking or making expressions in order to demonstrate his current mood. He liked people to be able to understand how he felt in the given moment, and had started making efforts in trying to make himself more relatable. Don't worry, Spirit. If the opportunity comes up, I'll look at you, okay? Alright. Spirit's gonna be huge, he said with a smile as he dissipated back into the rest of the liquid steel surrounding him, as we were finally closing in on our target location. Swooping down, I could see the large number of storage lockers below me. It was an outdoor space. It looked like a maze, but thankfully, there didn't seem to be many people around at the time, so I had no trouble swooping in for a landing. As I landed, I took a look around. It appeared as if I was beside locker number 37. Looking at the key strapped to the back of the car, it appeared as though it was to locker number 131. So I was still a bit far away from it, beginning to follow the locker numbers up, looking for this specific storage locker. I still kept my guard up, having the liquid steel swirling around me, ready to take shape or form anytime it needed to. With the damage to my armor still not fixed properly, my defenses weren't at their pinnacle. It would be important to be able to raise a quick defense if anything was, well, unwary, uncertain, or explosive. Eventually, I found my way to locker number 131. Removing the key from the back of the card, I was about to put it in before Spirit popped out again. "Wait," Spirit uttered, popping out to take nearly his full form in front of me. "You let Spirit do. It's safer that way. You should stay inside a protective orb. I open lock. You stay safe. In case boom boom. That would be bad." "Yeah, I suppose you're right, Spirit," I said, as I began to form the liquid steel into a barrier around me. "But if there's no explosion, you be sure to let me know once you're done opening the locker," I said, as the steel closed in around me. I put as much as I could into the steel orb surrounding me, as Spirit put most of his form into it as well. I had lost a good measure of steel today, so all I could hope was if there was an explosion, I had enough to withstand it. As Spirit let part of his body hang out of the sphere, beginning to reach for the lock as the steel closed in around me, sealing off my view. A short time passed in which nothing seemed to happen. I didn't feel the rumbling of an explosion or being thrown or blown up. Everything seemed quiet before I heard Spirit's voice. "Okay, everything's clear. I opened the locker." Okay, no explosion, I thought as I broke down the liquid steel into its flowing liquid state around me. Looking into the locker ahead, it seemed to be mostly empty. There was really nothing in here, except for what seemed like a large object towards the back of the locker. Something square and box shaped that had a large black tarp draped over it. "Okay, this could still be a trap, so stay sharp, Spirit," I said, walking towards the tarp carefully. For some reason, it even crossed my mind to look for tripwires and blinking lights, cameras and such, but finding none. Carefully making my way towards that box-shaped object under the tarp, I carefully reached out, grabbing the tarp and slowly beginning to pull it away as I began to see light from underneath it, a sort of dim glow as I pulled the tarp back completely to reveal what looked like a small fish tank filled with water with sort of a greenish hue to it. And there seemed to be some sort of a fish tank light alighting the inside, casting light through the green liquid and all the figures floating around inside it. To my shock, the tank was filled with symbiotes. There must have been at least a dozen of them. Almost all of them were tiny, little ones, much like the ones that I had in my fish tank, hatchlings. But there was one notable exception, a single full-sized symbiote, swimming around with a dull green bead of light towards the center of its form. As I removed the tank, they began swirling about, as the largest of them, the adult symbiote, moved towards the front of the tank rapidly, beginning to look me over, shaking its head somewhat. "Oh my god, it's Piosa!" Nihilata shouted into my head. "Piosa?" "Yes, one of my closest friends," Nihilata replied. "Oh, it's been ages since I've seen him. Oh, it's good to know that he's safe." "Oh, yeah, that's good, I suppose. And the rest of these hatchlings seem to be fine as well. I suppose this is his gift, a show of faith that he's going to release half of the captured symbiotes should I follow through with this deed." "No, Keven, it's even more than that. I didn't expect them to make this sort of move. This definitely gives heavy leniency to the idea that they intend to honor their agreement. Why so, Nylea? Keven, Peleus is one of the 4 King's candidate bloodlines. It's the weakest among the 4, but still, this is definitely a hefty give. I never expected them to so willingly part with one of the royal candidates. They must be quite desperate to be rid of Becky. But more importantly, this solution, it might be the answer to our problems. It's the solution that we have on board the ship, the compound that allows us to sustain ourselves, even if we need King's blood in order to truly take a host. What? Are you sure? Yes, Keven. With this, I could survive, even if I have to leave you. But there's not exactly a lot of this stuff. It doesn't matter, Keven. The compound is specifically made. It's almost a living organism in and of itself. All you have to do is sustain this amount. In fact, it can even multiply. If we add this to the water that you have in the tank at your house, then the entire thing will take on a likewise function. All you need do is add nutrients to the water in order for the microscopic organisms that fill it to have their effect, to spread and multiply. This will be exceptionally useful. And it at least means that I won't be left stranded without a host.